But at least if you sack him earlier, it give you a chance. You have
N-
like
No,
they have like what?
because nope, we already sat down and said the Southampton
Okay.
team
Yeah,
isn't
yeah, yeah.
ready. So even if they had sacked him and brought in another manager, they would have just sat the other manager as well. So it's an ongoing cycle.
Okay. They have 11 games left. If they had sacked him 10 games into the season and bring in a more pragmatic manager that can get them more points.
Mm,
Again, the top of the league is a drift from everybody else. The bottom of the league isn't. It's not like
mm.
United is playing great. It's not like Wolves is playing great. It's not like West Ham is playing great.
We sat down at the beginning of the season
Yes,
and
yes,
we picked that the three teams that came up are the teams that will be going
yes,
down. We
but
already acknowledged that
yes, but
Wolves, West
prediction
Ham, and
goes
Everton were the worst teams in the Premier League, but fortunately for them, the three teams that came up are worse than them, and they're gonna
yes,
go back down.
but
So
that's
no
yeah.
matter if they had
How many how many
get rid of the
teams how
manager
many
in
teams
the
have you
summer,
seen? How many teams have you seen defy the odds of and stay up?
teams that spend money in their club, like
Hmm.
Nottingham Forest, like when they did, a team
Okay,
like
yeah, but Nottingham Forest didn't
Fulham
didn't
when they came up.
not okay. Nottingham Forest didn't defy the odds to stay up. And I can tell you team that didn't go out and spend a ton load of money when they came up and they're still in the league. Brentford didn't spend a ton load of money when they came up.
Mm-mm.
Brighton didn't spend a ton load of money when they came up.
No, and if you go back and you look at the teams that went down that year, we also predicted those teams to be the
No,
worst teams.
yeah,
So
but
every year we come and we
there's
say
always gonna
these
be
teams are gonna be are the
yes,
teams that aren't gonna be performed, that didn't do anything in the transfer window, and we predicted them to go down, and they always go down. You sat there and told me that Brentford is the team to watch out for. They have a good team, the manager is good,
yeah,
their
but the
system is
team
really good.
okay, but
So
the reason why
they survived.
I say Brentford is because they didn't make a lot of signings, but because the quality of scouting that they did throughout the championship will keep
Hmm.
them up.
Yeah,
Just as
and it did.
Brighton did.
Hmm.
But what I'm saying is the problem with Southampton, this is the biggest problem with Southampton this season, or to any other team. Southampton is the only team in the bottom half of the league that trying to play this open, expansive football. The thing is that you can't be coming up playing open, expansive football in the Prem with teams that has a bigger budget than you. You have to come out playing pragmatic football. If they set up not to lose, right? Because again, I know what you're saying, but if you look at the league table right now, you're looking at that you don't even need. It looks like the team that's going to be safe is not even going to get 40 points.
Yeah, we
And
know
as
this was gonna happen.
but that's what I'm saying. If you're more pragmatic, you could have picked up more points. It's about being pragmatic when you don't have the best team. As I say, Ipswich, for example, like Donacha said right here, Ipswich, he
Hmm.
thinks Ipswich might stay up. Ipswich is just four. If yeah, but Ipswich is 5 points off Wolves.
Hmm. So is Leicester.
Exactly. But the problem that I'm saying is Southampton put themselves so far adrift from not being pragmatic. Because the thing is, it's not about sometimes how good you are. It's sometimes it's how much pressure can the teams above you, like the pressure of staying up. Can a lot of these clubs that go down that we didn't predict to go down is that once they get in a relegation scrap, the players themselves can't navigate the relegation scrap.
Mm.
So they end up that they find themselves being um Donaka. Oh, sorry about that, man. Sorry for the mispronunciation. But yeah, a lot of these teams don't understand how to navigate that because they're not okay, big up. Got some Irish friends over here in Vancouver.
Nice, nice.
Um a lot of clubs and players that are playing in that mid-table teams.
Mm-hmm.
They'd never experienced relegation battle before coming into England, a lot of them. And a lot of them haven't played like in the championship. So they don't know how to dig in and stock it out. You have to give yourself a fighting chance. Southampton didn't give themselves a fighting chance. And
Southampton didn't give themselves a fighting chance, and Southampton didn't have the team to give themselves a fighting chance. Because
the thing is,
I don't see a point where Southampton didn't in the earlier beginning, even if they had changed manager, wouldn't have beat the first 10 teams that they faced. They didn't beat Ipswich, that came up with them. They didn't beat Leicester. They
yes,
had United, Brentford,
but
Brighton,
what I'm
and he
saying is,
lost to all of them.
and
And
that's
even
where
if they changed managers, they would have still lost those games.
no, but I'm saying after that point, if they sack him and then turn around and bring in somebody more pragmatic that understand how to navigate relegation, get the team in. We have seen it where teams are sitting bottom of the league, change manager comes in, being pragmatic, and they stay up.
Yeah,
But that's what I'm
but
saying. It's that,
but at least with those teams, you could see
but
from the beginning that there's some fighting them. We knew these teams coming up, they did not have that fight.
but Tom, what his name? Ipswich is showing that fight. If
Mm,
you're watching, if I don't know how much Ipswich game you've watched recently,
I've been watching their
they're,
game, and they look
they're
interesting, but at the end of it, we all knew they were gonna go down.
but again, if they look like giving a fight. Karen McKenna again is a young manager,
Hmm.
but that's what I'm saying.
So with
All of these
Ipswich,
team,
with Ipswich, I think the owners and everybody know that this would have been a tough task, right? So they plan to stick out with the manager. He stayed with them during the summer, no matter what links for him moving, what that was going through. He stayed, and they're playing decent football. Like if they go down, I think they have the squad to come back up. The question is, what are you going to do if you come back up the following season? Are you going to wait for a big collapse from one of the other Premier League teams for you to stay up, or are you going to improve in your team so you can actually take one of their place? That's the thing, because when
yeah.
I
So
looked at these teams in the beginning, I didn't see any one of these teams doing that.
yeah, when
When Brentford came up, we could say, yeah, they were taking that team spot, which they did. Brighton, the same thing. Fulham, Nottingham Forest, we can yes, because at the end of the transfer window, with the coaches, the players there, we can say yes, this team will be struggling. That team can take their spot if they play their cards right, which they did at the beginning of the season. Ipswich, Leicester, and Southampton for us were the teams that were going down because we didn't see that from those teams. No matter
yeah,
how interesting Ipswich were playing, they weren't. The, there's too many teams that were better than them in the beginning that are still better than them now.
so like how I view it is like I just pick out three teams that I think is the three worst team.
Mm.
However, there is always a surprise of a season of one team being so bad that we
Yeah.
didn't expect.
Yes.
So,
And
but,
then
but
normally,
my thing with this too is that that's what I'm saying. At this point, I don't get the point of sacking the manager because you're already going back down,
yep,
and he
yep,
take you out of the championship. So I didn't see the point of sacking the
of
manager
sacking him. Yeah. No,
at that time.
I totally understand what you're saying with that, but we know that they always make this impulsive decision to sack the manager because he's not winning games, he's not getting any points.
Yeah,
But
that's what I was saying that.
in the but when we look at it, is like you didn't invest much
Yeah,
into the team
but
for
that's
you to be in the position to challenge for a Premier League spot.
but that's what I'm saying. At this moment, it's a waste of time. If you wanted to do it early in the season, that at least, even if you're not going to stay up, you still have somewhat of a fighting chance with more games left.
Mm.
Not right now when you have 10 games left in the season. Doesn't make any sense.
Hey, a lot can happen. According to your logic, a lot can happen in
No,
10
not from
games.
here.
Not
Not
for
from here.
no, no.
And that's what I said. With 10 games in the season, not 10 games left in the season. But
Mm.
when you play 10 games in the season, you make a decision at that point. 10 games left in the season, it makes no sense to make a decision. because at that point it's gonna be pretty much a waste of time.